Okay, so we are picking up with our vacuum suction. The vacuum machine, also known as the suction machine, is used in a facial when the esthetician's goal is to remove impurities, stimulate the skin, or perform a machine aided facial lymphatic massage. The machine uses glass and metal suction cups that come in different shapes and sizes depending on their use and area that you're going to want to actually use it. So, the movement of these cups across the face and neck mimic the contractions naturally made by the lymphatic vessels and artificially aids in the movement of lymphatic fluid. So, it's very beneficial for lymphatic drainage. It's great if a client has excess congestion. It's great if a client is puffy or really inflamed in the morning and you want to do this in the before they go throughout their day. The suction machine is great for both moving imperfections and impactions and stimulating the movement of lymphatic fluid. So when you're going to use the suction machine, depending on when you use the vacuum machine during a service, is the first step is in using one. So who needs it and when you need it. The machine can be used after the de-encrustation, but before extractions, just like Cheyenne told us earlier. So after you apply your de-encrustation solution, you can even perform galvanic de-encrustation on top of the de-encrustation solution, liquefy that sebum, and then go in and instead of manually extracting with an extractor tool or the finger method, then you are able to come around and suction out those impactions from the follicle. Then you can use it in place of massage. So instead of doing a manual massage, you can use the vacuum suction machine on a low to medium and actually follow the lymphatic drainage system and perform suction of and lymphatic drainage massage on the face, neck and décolleté. So if you are going to perform lymphatic drainage, I would actually look up a actual lymphatic drainage massage. There's not one in your textbook. I'll see if I can find one and maybe we can do our own version of it. But if you are going to perform lymphatic drainage, you need to do the research because you have to understand the lymphatic system and make the right movements. So, effects of the machine. The vacuum machine serves two main functions. It's going to suction the dirt and impurities and stimulate the dermal layer as well as lymphatic and blood circulation. So, a really good anti aging, really good relaxation, really good to deep cleanse the skin. From there, the contraindications are actually pretty light. Most people can get vacuum suction. It's really going to depend on the integrity of the skin and any extenuating circumstances like broken blood vessels, telangiectasia, rosacea, irritation, scar, damage to the skin, open wounds. A vacuum machine should not be used on Couperose skin with distended or dilated capillaries or any open lesions. And to avoid harming the client's skin, do not use suction on inflamed, rosacea, or Couperose skin. I would also not perform vacuum suction on someone who has a sunburn or has had a sunburn and they are still recovering from it. You never want to suction liquids or oil into the suction device. So if that does happen, there are filters on the device itself. You're just going to change out the filter, get a new one for the next client. But you don't want to have the skin be extremely wet. And if there is a lot of impaction coming out into the device, you want to suction and then clean the glass tool and then suction, clean the tool, suction, clean the tool. You don't want it to get sucked into the machine itself. Avoid using strong suction because it may cause tissue damage or bruising. The thinner the skin, the more likely you are to bruise. Holding the skin taut with the proper setting will allow you to avoid damaging the skin. You are going to hold the skin very, very taut, which is why you want to make sure that it's dry to lightly saturated with the de-encrustation solution. If you can't grip the skin, then it's too moist for vacuum suction. As far as safety and maintenance of the machine go, you're going to clean to maintain the vacuum machine following these guidelines. You're going to clean all glass devices with soap and water and soak them in a disinfectant of appropriate strength. So you are going to use the EPA registered disinfectant like you would with all of your multi-use tools. Then you're going to follow the manufacturer's directions to clean the hand pieces and hoses. What I like to do is use a paper towel with soap and water to do my first wipe of the machine and the hosiery, like the hoses or tubes. And then I take a paper towel with EPA, wipe down the machine and the tool and the suction tube, and then again a wet damp paper towel with just water, wipe it down for the third time. From there you can put it back to where it sits on the machine and you're good to go. With that being said, a lot of times in the facility, what I'll notice with those machines is all those cords and tubes get kind of caught up and they'll kind of drag on the floor. It's very important that you do not allow your device or your machinery to drag on the floor for any reason. One, that's not sanitary. Two, TDLR will fine you if they come in and see that. And three, you run the risk of damaging the equipment or pulling something that shouldn't get pulled. Normally, a filter is located at the end of the hose, where the hose attaches to an orifice collected to the machine. The filter may have to be changed frequently depending on use. So there is a filter hose that you'll see when we actually do the demo of the device. That is going to need to be changed frequently so that you are not cross-contaminating. Even though there's not a, with this particular hose, there's not a spray function attached, like you spray from a different hose. You do want to make sure that you're changing that filter out frequently, especially if you're getting, a lot of use out of that suction function. Store any tips wrapped in cloth in a covered storage area to protect against breakage. So we put all of our tips in an advanced facial box. What I would recommend is you can lay down a paper towel in the box, and then you can put something soft to kind of pat it into the box, and then put all your glass electrodes into something like that. Or some multifunction machines have little places for you to hold the actual glass suction tubes so that they're always in a particular place and they're never bumping up against each other. I would just make sure to never drop them, because that once you drop it, it is glass, it's going to break. Another thing that it doesn't mention here is this is glass, but because there's no gas attached to it, you can put it in the sterilizer. But you don't have to put it in the sterilizer. You can go straight with the EPA and you're good. But I would recommend going straight to the sterilizer when I'm done, putting them away clean, covered, you're good to go. So the procedure itself. You're going to apply a medium such as water to provide slip during the procedure. You can use de-encrustation solution. You can use a toner. If you're doing a massage with this, I would use water and or a light massage oil or cream. If I'm doing the extractions with it, I would use the de-encrustation solution to give me a little bit of slip. Again, not too much liquid so that it's not getting sucked into the machine. You're going to attach the appropriate glass or metal tip to the hose after inserting a piece of cotton into the handpiece as a filter without blocking the suction pressure. So there are little tiny filters. They kind of look like, I don't know how you would explain it. It's not cotton. It's a plastic almost, but our ours have a suction that you could use and could put in there that come with the machine, but you can also use cotton in the hand piece to act as a filter. You just need to make sure that you are getting that pushed out and disposed before you use it on another client. You're then going to turn on the power and adjust the suction. At this point, even though it doesn't show it in the mini procedure, at this point, what I like to do is check the suction against my gloved hand. So you want to make sure your hand is gloved and you check the suction. The way you're going to do that is with your index finger, cover the finger hole on the handpiece. And then when removing the suction across the skin, starting at either the top or bottom of the client's face, usually 3 to 5 passes on each area are enough and should be adjusted according to the skin sensitivity. So before I ever touch the client with the suction, I'm going to test that suction on my hand. From there, slowly move the device horizontally on moistened or damp skin. Keep moving across the face without stopping. You never want to leave the suction in one place. You will create bruising. You can leave hickeys. More pressure in this case is not better. You want to start low and go up as needed for that client. Make sure you hold the skin taut with the other hand as you move from each area of the face. So horizontal movements, you're working down to up, horizontal, I'm sorry, in to out for horizontal. You can also work vertical, from the bottom to the top. Again, gravity already does an excellent job, so we don't want to help gravity. We always want to move up or from the midline of the face, so from the nose out to the hairline. Switch to the small tip for the nose if necessary, depending on the shape of the client's face. And be sure to include the vertical creases near the nose. That's where you're going to get a lot of that impaction, especially if you're using de-incrustation gel. And then to avoid pulling the skin, lift the finger off of the hole that you covered with your index finger earlier. You want to move that finger off the hole to avoid lifting or pulling on the skin. And then from there, once you're done, you're going to disengage the attachment from the hose, switch it out, make sure you do your 3 to 5 passes maximum, and then after your procedure, clean it as you would, as we explained earlier, and then you're good to go. You want to make sure that your client doesn't have any excess redness or irritation when going through this procedure. The biggest and the easiest thing with this procedure is just to make sure that you don't use too much pressure too soon. Start low, go